Hello, 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 humans. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, and yeah, this lockdown has been locking some of us down, but I'm back, and I just want to welcome you back to my channel. If you're new, and if you're not new and you have not yet subscribed, what are you doing? I'm going to give you a moment to subscribe, okay? Good. Did you do it? It's that red button somewhere down there. And I hope you did. So we can move into the video. I'm super excited for this video. Also, I'm a little nervous because it's my own personal experience, and yeah, that's why I have some tea today, because girl. Okay, so today we're talking about online dating, and if you're ready, let's go. Father, we welcome you, we welcome you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about my experience with online dating and how it has affected my life. And the first thing I want to say is that we get questions like, should Christians online date? Should they do that? And for me, it's just a matter of, it's not about how you meet someone, it's rather about your motivation behind meeting. Your motivation behind choosing said way of meeting someone, you know what I mean? And for me, online dating is not unconstitutional, unchristian like. For me, it's just a means to meet people, and that's why I initially went on online dating. So I have been on the popular online dating site Tinder from in 2016. That's when I was on it on and off, and then I finally deleted the app, and then I got it again in 2019. And I just want to say, I'm not going to talk about the people I met, but I'm just going to say that I met some characters on Tinder, but we're not going to get into that. So I'm just going to talk about my experience with online dating and some of the things that really opened up my eyes to the world of dating and how I should go about it, okay? So the first one is stigma. Like I said, a lot of Christians would be like, you're a Christian, you should believe that God is going to give you your husband, you doing that, you're taking matters into your own hands, and you don't have faith and stuff like that. And for me, it was just sort of like, you know what, I don't think I don't have faith. I just think that this is not 1998, and I'm not going to walk into Checkers or Pick and Pay and meet the love of my life while reaching for the same apple, you know what I mean? And just be like, oh hi, you're the one, my soulmate. It doesn't happen like that anymore. I don't even remember the last time a man came up to me while I was grocery shopping or at a Clicks or something like that, or at a mall. Do you know what I mean? It's just those occasional at a restaurant type of thing. But evidently we're not going to restaurants anymore, at least for a while, or like, we're wearing masks now. Like, how are we supposed to meet each other? And yeah, the stigma just really got to me, and it was very embarrassing for me to even talk to people about me online dating. I'd hide the app, I'd make sure that the notifications are turned off so that people don't even see when like I have a message from Tinder or anything like that, because while the Christian community sometimes can be very judgmental. So yeah, that's my experience with the stigma part. It really made me feel like I'm being judged and undermined. So that's one of my experiences. And then the second one is personal to me, which was I was lowering my standards. I was lowering my standards, which led to sin. So I'd allow men who are not saved into my life because I just thought like, I'll pray for him and we can do this. We'll get through this together. Jesus saves. And let me tell you something. Do not yoke yourself like with unbelievers, because they will drag you down. And I'm not saying that they are sinners or I'm not bashing them. I'm saying you personally, to guard yourself and to guard your spirituality and your relationship with God, rather not yoke yourself with unbelievers, because like the sinfulness. And when you are saved, like because I'm saved, I would engage in sin, and wow, the self-condemnation, it's like I just gave the devil reasons to come at me further. Do you know what I mean? And wow, self-condemnation is hard and difficult. It's not nice to sit there and feel guilty and feel like, how am I even gonna return to God when I just did that and stuff like that. So yeah, no. The third thing that I think it's a bit funny is that that I learned was that some of the men, they were not my type, and most of the men, they were not my type. And I think that's why I eventually just yoked myself or lowered my standards, because I thought, clearly I've been swiping for years and there's no one that just even is like up to my standards, so it means that my standards are too high. No, Lala, the standards are not too high. Those men are just not your type. And that's what I learned, that sometimes men are just not your type. And don't lower your standards to be with someone who's not your type just because. No, don't do that, okay? The fourth thing is that I was pursuing instead of being pursued. And let me tell you something, that is the worst. I wouldn't say I regret it right now, because it made me learn a lot about dating, but it's definitely something I'd advise against. Do not ever pursue, like, just don't pursue men. Just don't do it. Because if you are actively showing a man that you like him and you're interested in being with him, he has no reason to run the race to get the prize, because he already knows that the prize is his. So he's just going to be mediocre and disappointing the whole time. You're gonna be discussing the same thing over and over again about your needs and your wants. It's just not fulfilling, and it's not compatible, if you ask me. So just don't do it. Like, if you knew you were gonna win the trophy anyway, like, why are you putting in so much work to get the trophy? Don't do it, please. Like, that's just my 2 cents about pursuing men. I know we're told, shoot your shot. Like, you know what? Yeah, no. The fifth thing is that I'm very action driven. And that's one thing I learned about online dating, that some people are out there to just play games, they just want to chitter chatter with people. And I went in there like, I'm serious. I'm here to get my man. I'm here to get a husband. And the men there, they just like, we're talking for weeks, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna ask for my number? Are we just gonna continue chatting here on this online dating app? Are you gonna ask me out on a date? Are we gonna video call? What are we doing? What's the action? What's the drive? There's no drive. There's no drive. There is no drive. That's why don't lower your standards. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. The fifth thing was that my motive was definitely wrong. My motive to go into online dating, and this is why I said at first that it's not about how you meet someone, but rather your motive behind said way of meeting someone. And my motive was definitely the pits. So one of my motives was that I wanted validation, and man, did I get validated. Like, you are beautiful, you are smart, you love the Lord, you're gonna pray for our kids. That was nice. Like, I just felt like, you already know what it is. You know what I mean? That was nice, but it's not a valid reason for you to like start online dating. Nope. Like, they validated me, but did they marry me? No. Did they ask me out? No. It was just one of those things that, I don't know if they were fulfilling their egotistical nature. I don't know what to call it, but it led to nothing, literally. It led to nothing, or it led to sin. That was just it. The second motive was that I was tired of waiting on God. I was exhausted. I was just like, clearly you've forgotten about me and my desires. So yeah, I'm tired. And this leads to the third reason, was that motivation, which was that I want to take matters into my own hands now, because God clearly wasn't doing it for me. So I just decided, look, God helps those who help themselves. And that's true. That is true. And this is why I don't think online dating is wrong for Christians. I just think that when your motives are wrong, it can lead to a whole, worms everywhere. And then the other reason for which was my motivation, was that the spirit of loneliness had overtaken my life, guys. The spirit of loneliness, wow. And I just want to say, being alone doesn't mean that you're lonely, and don't ever get that twisted. So the spirit of loneliness was just doing me under, it was doing me dirty, and I just felt like I needed someone. And that's why that validation that I got was so fulfilling for me for a while, because I just felt like now people see me, men see me now, men like me, men want me. I'm not as lonely. I'm talking to the other gender, and that is not, I'm just a little cringy about it right now, because, wow, the spirit of loneliness. And you know what? Don't ever allow the devil to do that to you, because he is finicky and full of it. Because he will use your biggest fears against you. And my biggest fear was being alone. And he knew that. And he made sure that he repeated that in my ear so long that I eventually decided that whatever comes, I'll take. It doesn't matter. I'll work on it with him. We will change him. And like I said in one of my previous videos, you cannot change a man, especially his character. Only God can do that. Then another thing is that I was not content. And the spirit of contentment does not mean that you are happy with the place that you're in. It just means that you are okay with it, and that you acknowledge it, that you are thankful and grateful for what you have, and that you are not throwing tantrums every day in your life. Like, are we going to pele mufasi? Are we tulanchil mabota? Like, you're just okay, and you're just like, look, this is what I have now. I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I'm happy with what I have now. Right now, I'm happy with what I have now. If I have something else, will I be happy? Yes. But right now, I'm happy with what I have now. I didn't have that. I wasn't happy. All I had, I didn't even acknowledge it. I just thought, yeah, so I want more. That's, yeah. And then another thing is that I was desperate. And loneliness, not being content, leads to desperation. I was desperate. So that's why I even lowered my standards. That's why I was with men who were not my type, because I was desperate to have someone, especially during that time of, like, when Twitter was all up in flames with the boyfriend Olympics. And I was just like, where's my boyfriend? When will he start taking part in this Olympics and doing good things for me? I want the good things. And because I was that desperate, my expectations also overtook me, and all the men that I met didn't live up to those expectations. And yeah, expectations are also something that you should avoid having, especially if they come from desperation. And then the last thing is that I idolized marriage, and I idolized the idea of my husband. And let me just tell you, I thought that when I get married, I have arrived at the peak of happiness. Happiness has found me because now I'm married. And I just realized now that, you know what, like, marriage is, I don't think marriage is what I think or I thought it would be. I'm not married now, but I'm just saying that, like, if you're idolizing something, I think that's the more God won't give it to you, because he's a jealous God. And you having idols, no, God is your idol. is your love, first love, Jesus. Don't idolize a man or an idea or whatever. So the more you idolize something, the further. And I know you might be asking, how do I stop idolizing something? You know, how do I know that I'm idolizing something? And I think I knew when I stopped doing it that I was actually idolizing. I don't have a formula on how to stop it, but I just know that filling myself with the word of God and his presence just made me realize that I need him more than I need any human being. Okay, and I just want to say that if you're considering online dating, or if you are you know, on an online dating app, I just want to pray that God gives you the spirit of wisdom and discernment, which is the most important, especially when it comes to dating, because you need to be able to tell the difference between a counterfeit and a real thing. And there's so many counterfeits out there. And please, before you do try online dating, or if you already are, just take a moment to, you know, maybe hide the app or do something. Just take a moment to really pray, to really ask yourself questions like, why am I here? What are the underlying reasons why I am on this app, and, you know, trying to find someone on this app? You know what I mean? And be cautious. Like, discernment, guys. Know the difference. Don't ever lower your standards. Make sure that you don't yoke yourself with unbelievers, because that's just the highway to to a dangerous place that you don't want to go. And yeah, that's just my 2 cents. But I just want to say that please make sure that you just, like, you know the difference, and you can tell. Especially on dating apps like Tinder. And you know what, I actually think I should do a video on different dating apps and just compare them and let you guys know which ones I think are best. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this shed some light and some perspective on online dating and how you should go about it. Not literally how you should go about it, but like some of the things you should consider before doing it, as you're doing it. And pray for the spirit of discernment. And I will see you next time. Please remember to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It costs nothing. And I'll see you next time. Okay.